have one big regret, and that is this. At the time,
writing rude words on the back of my Range Rover.
No, I love that. Not doing enough. I was dating my now wife, mother of my kids. Hi, Jen. And I'd gone down to LA. I had a couple days off, or it was the weekend, or I forget what kind of day of the week it was. But on the way, she was driving me to the airport to fly back to Vancouver. And on the way to the airport, I get a text that Kim is in the hospital. And Genevieve was going like, do you want to stay? And I think I had to work that day. I think I was flying in at 6 a.m. to land at 9 to film at noon or whatever. And she's like, you want to stay? And I was like, no, I'm off in a couple days. Like, I'll come back and go visit him. By the time I landed in Vancouver, he had passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wish I'd stayed.
He was just an amazing guy. He was something else. And
yeah.
Look, I've worked with a lot of people, and I've known you since you were a lot younger. Same. A lot younger. And the truth is it sounds so corny, and this show is a family. This is a place where we went to work with 150 of our friends for over, a decade and a half. I did nearly a decade of it. And I think the energy that he instilled upon how to behave on a set was absolutely the reason why anybody could walk on that show and be treated like gold. You could succeed. If you came with your A game, you were looked after and you were carried. And if you were crap, you were looked after and you were carried. I swear to God, I have seen a couple of people that didn't, I won't ever say what it is, but didn't make it beyond a certain small amount of an arc, and they just didn't have the right thing or didn't get it or whatever.
Yeah, or the right attitude. We even had people that recurred and returned who maybe they weren't as solid of an actor as a Mark Sheppard or a Mark Pellegrino type, but they were good enough and they were kind. And they showed up and they wanted to work, and they wanted to laugh, and they knew their lines, and they hit their marks, and they showed up on time, and there's no bullshit. It was like, okay, we can work with this, and so let's keep on going.
There was a trust element that was mind-blowing, and I've worked on some amazing sets in my time, but it was special, man, to know that every single person in that crew had my back every single day. When we did the end of season 8, when you and I were doing hours and hours and hours of this stuff. Right, so in between shots, you gotta move lights, you gotta move cameras, you gotta do stuff, and they don't have to be quiet. They're working all day. They've been there 3 hours before us. They're leaving 3 hours after us.
And it was a long trip. It was like an hour away from town on some like beautiful lake that feels
On the outside, when we went to the stage, when we came back to